So we actually financed this film as we were shooting it. And there were times we should have really stopped filming because we'd sort of run out of money. And that was really a leap of faith from Fremantle and Truth Films, who were the co-production partners, to say, no, we believe in this, keep going. And then we'd find somebody else to put money in, and there's somebody else. And you just have to keep believing in the story you're telling.
And what is This Is Going to Be Big about?
It follows the life of 4 neurodiverse high schoolers as they audition and rehearse and perform for their very first ever High School Musical. And the High School Musical just happens to be about the legendary John Farnham.
So we've got 4 John Farnhams, one from the 60s, one from the 70s, one from the 80s, and one from the 90s. So you might choose to audition for any of these.
Oh no, I don't know how.
No. So how did the project come about?
Both my mother and my sister are music teachers in schools, and so I guess from an early age and even recently I've had an insight into that world. I guess I could just sort of feel that this is such a great set piece or sort of backbone for some human stories to be told. From there, pretty much cold called every school in Victoria, trying to find a school that had some interesting stories to tell.
How did you find Sunbury and Macedon Rangers Specialist School?
Total fluke, total kind of luck. There was no real criteria that I was operating on in terms of what I thought the school kind of should be, or where it should be based, or how big or how small, or what its resources were at all, any of that. I think there was another teacher I was talking to at one point, just on the phone, hadn't met them, their school wasn't interested. But the teacher that I was speaking to was a big fan of the idea. She could see value in it, and she just said, have you ever met Darcy Nolan?
When we put The Incredibles on, what did we do the other day? Did we quote every line word for word?
Oh yeah, we did.
All right, and I think that your memory for learning lines will come in handy and you'll be all over it. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. You happy?
Thank you so much. This is going to be big.
So the project, it's a little bit different in that there's a theatrical feature version and then a 2-part series for ABC. What was the decision to do 2 different versions, and did it impact the making of the documentary at all?
So there are 2 different versions of this film, and the decision was a financial one. Basically, it is very difficult to raise money for a feature, but we wanted to be able to tell the story really leading with the characters and in the characters' voices. So the feature film is much more of a slow burn as the characters reveal themselves. However, in financing this project, ABC really connected with the storyline and connected with the students and wanted to be a part of it. And for them, 2x1 hours worked much better both for iView and on air. By having both versions, we now have 2 offerings that we can present even to an international market, and people can make the right choice for their audience, whether they want the feature or whether they want the 2x1 hours. So it was really important not only for the financing, but also for future sales.
Now I want to talk about the technical aspects of filming, because you shot a little unconventionally for a documentary in that it was locked off on a tripod, which ended up with some really interesting framing. Why did you take this approach, and did it make it harder to find and capture those spontaneous moments?
Early on, I looked at doing, kind of roving cameras, even did some few tests with even with anamorphic lenses. But it was just too distracting. You're in a classroom, you have these bodies whizzing around. I wanted this to be an observational film where you're trying not to change the atmosphere of the room. And some of these moments that you're trying to get, capture are really quite small and intimate. And so just got to do a battery change, or, it's it really kind of changes the moment. Found pretty early that, just when you're having these locked off cameras, you can kind of back off and sort of bleed into the background a little bit.
I think Devon, before he left, was one of the kids.
If anyone has taken some milk out of the staff room, if they could put it back, that would be great. Thank you.
How did Bus Stop Films get involved with the production? And I understand too, it's received Inclusively Made certification. What does that mean, and what did you have to do to achieve that?
I believe that we are the first film in Australia to receive the Inclusively Made logo, which is very exciting. From a very early stage, they did training with our crew. They provided placements off camera. So it was really important to us that we had advice along the way. So we basically had a hotline to Bus Stop and the gorgeous Tracy Corbin Matchett, and she advised us the whole way along, and including right up into the launch, and how we package this for launch, and how we include the students and the teachers and the school in the process of this film being launched. They all came to the premiere at MIF and have been a part of our story the whole way along.
Does John know about the project?
He does indeed. He knows about the project. We didn't feel comfortable in any way progressing without his blessing. He was not well at the time, so we worked with his brilliant and very gracious manager, Gaynor Wheatley. And John gave us his blessing and support throughout the production process.
I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
What do you hope audiences will take away from This Is Going to Be Big?
Just the feeling like we're all part of something together. I think one thing that's beautiful about the world is that everyone is different, but we are all part of something. And what's best for us all, but also everyone individually, is that we make that something the best it can possibly be. So yeah, I hope it just makes people feel like we're all part of something good, and you want to kind of share that around.